was out of pocket. Hey, you know the only thing about this chili, I ain't even got no seasoning. Hey, it tastes perfect if sauce, from Chipotle or something or some seasoning. But straight this with no seasoning is kind of bland. I don't know why, but it is. Kind of bland, man. Ah, drop my phone in the dang sink. I got it bootlegged right now. Ooh, man, I hope I didn't get it too bad. Oh, man. Bootleg right there. Yeah, and flip the chili over and everything. All right, that's the chase. Man, my leg hurts so bad. Like it's damn near like just dangling. Like, I'm like, golly, dude, what are these people doing? There's something they putting in my clothing or something. That's what they did to my uncle. And he was just in so much pain because I've been in pain. There's something in my clothing or something. But I'm in pain, man. And, you would think. And then he probably was like, man, just give me something, man. I swear I be feeling like it, and even in my ears and my head, I be feeling like it's like chemicals or something. I can feel it. It don't even feel right. But I'm wondering, like, why would somebody be getting in my house every night like this? But they set me up. Whoever. I'm trying not to just assume, but ain't like I gotta assume it is what it is. Really, pretty much. This stuff is not that tasty. Well, like this. That's crazy. Padres lost 3-1. Man, I thought I had some of the little packages probably somewhere. The little packages of salt and pepper. Oh, a salt one, but there's a pepper. They got a pack of sugar there. It's the sugar right there. Some more sugar. I don't know if I should put no. I'm gonna put a little bit. I wish I had a little sugar, a little pepper too, or something at least. A little bit. You know? Hopefully that helped a little bit. But make a little chili dog. I usually get some totally different chili, but I had bought a box of that chili from Sam's Club, and it was horrible, and I wanted to take it back, and then I ended up not taking it back. Man, my knee hurts so bad. My leg. It's crazy, ain't it? So, got me some hot dog buns, and eat me a couple of these hot dogs, man. Chili dogs. You know what I mean? And I got me a Pepsi, man. You know what I mean? And I got a 32. I got my 32 ready. I got it ready. I got it ready. I'm gonna ball out tonight. I'm gonna ball out tonight. Ball out tonight. Ah, You know what I mean? Rick Rock say he got the mud. And my back hurt, my hip, my leg. It's crazy. They doing me wrong, man. I will say that. Shit. They didn't did it now. They ain't, yeah, I'm like, shit, you ain't gotta do no more. Goddamn, even if you was trying to hook me up. Shit. Lord have mercy. Oh man, that's that bland, boy. That's weird. Smell weird. I don't like it. But it tastes all right with some hot sauce or something. And I don't like hot sauce like with certain hot sauces with certain foods. You know what I mean? It just don't taste right to me. So I don't eat that like that. But it does some kind of seasoning in that one. You know what I mean? I gotta like, subscribe, share.
Munchie B just said video. We all heard what we heard, and at the end of the day, there's no way in hell that Munchie B should allow Jalise or anybody else on that stage to actually get him out of here up to the point where he would admit to actually knowing was responsible for the demise of Draco the ruler. No, they say that drink with him or passing the bottle all the time. Now, if I'm the individual who is passing the bottle, I'm looking at Munchie like WTF. Why would you say, man, mafia, the real mafia, not these old street. No disrespect to nobody street. If this was the Italian mafia back in the days when you heard it, they would have whacked one of y'all for saying this. And I ain't talking about whack 100. They would have smoked one.
Well, I ain't talking about whack. What is it?
Man, what the hell is going on with these street dudes, man? Something like that on the internet. And at the end of the day, nobody can be mad at Rockstar for putting the video out because it's content. Once you be said it on the open airways, the only person that is nothing right, they're gonna click this. You can best believe. Even if you delete the video, once it hit the internet, it's never going nowhere. So many people gonna chop it up, cut it up. It's not, and by the time, even if they do delete it, it's already out there. These ones is listening to everybody's page, bro. They watching everybody's page. If you get on the internet and you put it out there yourself, out your own mouth, you cannot get mad. But not doing police work. How we doing police work when you niggas on here is saying the shit that I had the police on? I don't want nobody calling my shit. Don't call my phone. Do not call my phone. I don't want to hear from nobody on this goddamn internet. Don't call my shit. You put this shit on here, that's on your ass. And that's for whoever. Don't call my phone. Do not call my phone, man. 100. Now, Wack 100 will post on his page on Instagram and say, Munchie B will most definitely be called as a witness. He already has a fresh possession of a gun case, so maybe he's letting them know he has the info. He already told us he collects info for money to turn into the law. Now he's a big person.
Man, I haven't had a soda in forever. No, I had a soda the other day. I did.
Well, he didn't say who the dude name was. It's not like he said, "Oh, I drink with such and such every day." He didn't say the name. He could just say, "Man, I passed the bottle with." They gonna say, "Well, who you passed the bottle to?" Man, I was just talking. But if it's somebody who actually hangs around and who actually called, they're gonna do they got a way to find it out. What, man? Man, this is 100. You know, you did this in the Big U case, and you did this in this case, and you talk about these open cases at one point in time. That may be true, but that still doesn't take away from what Munchie B actually did in this situation. Like, I'm still surprised. Like, I'm kind of like appalled that Munchie B would even say what he said on the internet. Like, yeah, I can't listen, man. He's not the only one that's on the internet saying crazy stuff on his internet. It's a lot.
Castor exposes himself drinking with
Man, I gotta scrub down my sandals before I put them on. Is that crazy?
Smoke and freeze. Some stories and the little Andre Georges for guilt. Castor Moses Scott, PA, the White House has paid for 40. Has 9 of 400. Harvard Lyrico. Nine election network. Bobby Can goes. Bill Parkell has 14 of Conan Chief has 15 of 445. Mary J. has 16 of Matthew inside true crime habits. Now I living
They be capping on here.
chicken pie.
Seldom on Vinted.
Visit the website, use your phone to scan.
In October 1997, one man walked into work like any normal day. He clocked in. He opened the vault, and then he started with money. Not a few bags, not a few $100,000. By the time he was done,
I had a pile of money that was about 3.5, 4 foot tall, 9 feet long, and weighed over a ton.
before anyone even realized the money was gone, he was already eating lunch in Mexico. This is the story of the Luna Fargo heist, one of the biggest bank robberies in American history. The man behind the robbery was David Gant. He grew up in Gastonia, North Carolina, in what he described as a pretty
Really average, upper middle class, lower middle class family, good education, just a normal southern up.
nothing unusual. He went hunting. He rode motorcycles. After high school, he joined the military.
I went to Desert Shield. And things at home really hadn't changed.
Eventually,
That's
he left the
crazy.
military and started looking for
I swear, that's the way it be making me feel too.
wasn't great. So one day,
I'll be like, loaded, you know, thank you God. Needed that. Give me a couple of more of these chili dogs, man.
the company specialized in training.
If I had to get some of that, when them 30, bust when them 32s open, you know? Hot in here. I don't know why it gets so hot. $8 an hour. Give that fool $8 an hour carrying tons of money. You know what he gonna do. You already know. They don't take rocket. They set him up for that. You know, if he went on and took that money, he already knew they was going. They already had that lined up. They took half and turned him in and all.
And this has become very important. At the end of the day, money was brought back to the secure building called the vault, the hardest building where every penny is stored. If you break into the vault, you've got everything. Inside that building, you can count and organize the money. The employees never actually touched loose cash. It was usually sealed inside bags with addresses on them. But John eventually worked his way up.
He grew up really good at being drunk, understood about to do all the safety.
And eventually, he was promoted to vault supervisor. That meant he had access to the room where millions of dollars passed through every week. And once you're inside that system, you start to notice something.
One of the things I do is he had a messenger. He went all around. He went 5 or 6 stops on his route, and I think it's $175,000 cash. And he rode around like an hour. $175,000. Come back and both of the
security isn't perfect. And that's when God started realizing something. If someone really wanted to steal money from this place, it might not be that hard. And that's when the temptation began.
Said he had 900,000 on the back bumper of a truck.
He was married, he bought a house, he bought some cars.
They was setting him up the whole time, lining him up. They like, ooh, he like, ooh.
Just because working long hours.
Over time, that pressure started building. And then something unexpected happened. A former coworker named Kelly.
How do you feel about Robin Parker? Is she about
At first, it sounded insane. But Dan remembered how the thought maybe this might not be a bad idea, especially since he knew something important.
it really wouldn't be that hard. It's just a day. And understanding that the reschedule it would be the easiest. You had much time to get it. I said it had to be.
And he knew that weekends had cash and others. For example, every other Saturday, the Charlotte Vault held a very large amount of business cash, not just checks. So if someone to steal money, Saturday would be the perfect day. And once the idea entered his head, he couldn't stop thinking about it. At first, plan was small. The group suggested stealing maybe $250,000, then maybe $1 or $2 million. But Don had a different mindset.
If you're going to break the law, all in or don't go.
So instead of stealing a little bit, he planned to empty the entire vault. He estimated there would be between 10 and 20 million inside. That would make it one of the biggest robberies in U.S. history. The plan was simple. On a Saturday, he would go into the vault, load the money into a Loomis Fargo van, meet his accomplices, then disappear out of the country before anyone realized what happened. On October 4th, 1997, David Gahn showed up to work just like he always did. Nothing about the evening looked well. Employees moved through the building doing their normal routine. Armored trucks had already delivered bags of cash from banks and ATMs all across the Charlotte area. Those bags had been brought inside of the facility and placed in the vault, waiting to be counted and sorted. It was a normal shift. It had worked many times before, and that was exactly why the plan worked. Don wasn't breaking into the building. He didn't need to wear a mask, and he didn't need to threaten anyone with a weapon. There were no guards to see past and no doors to force open. He simply walked into the vault like he always did, because technically he was allowed to be there. From the outside, a bank vault sounds like one of the most secure places in the world, something impossible to enter without alarms or special codes. But inside cash handling facility like Loomis Fargo, employees walked into the vault every day as part of their job. It was just another workspace. And on this night, Don looked like just another worker starting his shift. Inside of the vault were millions of dollars in cash. This money had been collected from businesses, banks, and ATM machines throughout the region. It hadn't been processed yet, which meant huge amounts of money were sitting there all at once. Don began moving it.
I knew about what's going in the vault. And let it work just normal.
At first, it probably felt strange, maybe even unreal. He picked up the first bag of cash and carried it out toward a Loomis Fargo company van waiting outside. Then he went back for another bag, then another. Soon he was moving constantly, walking back and forth between the vault and the van. Bag after bag, slowly the back of the van began to fill. The floor became covered in bags of cash. Bundles of money were stacked on top of each other, and Don kept going. Every trip added more weight. The pile inside the vehicle grew larger and larger. Later, Gaunt would describe what it looked like when everything was finally inside the van.
And by the time I was done, I had a pile of money that was about 3.5, 4 foot tall. And way over a ton.
At the beginning of the process, when the van was empty, the back bumper sat high above the ground.
When I was done, it was
There was so much money money inside that the vehicle was almost overloaded. In fact, there was still more cash sitting in the vault that he could have taken, but the van simply could not carry it anymore. He made a strange decision. He left several $1 million behind. When everything
I wonder if he knew what
amount of money
bills to take.
reached about $17.5 million. One man had just moved nearly $18 million in cash almost completely by himself. And somehow, no one had noticed. No alarms had gone off. No guards had stopped him. From the outside, everything looked completely normal. Then Gott climbed into the driver's seat of the van. He started the engine and slowly pulled away from the Loomis Fargo facility. Inside the back of that van sat one of the largest piles of stolen cash in American history. $17.5 million. After leaving the vault, Gaunt met his accomplices at a nearby location. He handed over the van and took only a small portion of the money for himself. Then he left. The escape plan was complicated.
And we go to Columbia, South Carolina. I didn't know at the time that the airport was closed at like 9. So I ended up hopping on a bus in Columbia, South Carolina. Go from Columbia, South Carolina to Atlanta, Georgia. Hop on a plane in Atlanta, from Atlanta to New Orleans to Cancun.
So by the time Loomis Fargo employees realized the vault had been emptied, David Gaunt was already sitting in Mexico eating lunch. At first, everything seemed perfect. The money was gone, the vault was empty, and the one person who could clearly be connected to the crime had already disappeared. Eventually, he ended up in Cozumel, a small island known for its beaches and tourist resorts. On paper, it sounded like a perfect hiding place, but the reality was very different. Gaunt had just helped steal more than $17 million, yet he barely had any money with him. The plan was that the others would send him his share slowly over time, so it wouldn't attract attention. Until then, he had to keep a low profile.
Wouldn't attract
The
attention.
biggest weakness in the plan wasn't the vault or the security system. The real weakness was the people involved. Because once the money was sitting in front of them, the excitement took over. Instead of laying low and staying
For
quiet,
no
as
reason.
required, several members of the group started making mistakes, huge mistakes, as they started spending the money. And the more they had, the less they wanted to share. One conspirator went from living in a simple double-wide trailer to suddenly buying a multi-million-dollar mansion entirely with cash. He began driving expensive cars, wearing flashy jewelry, buying designer clothes. When people asked how he had made so much money, he claimed he used professional football players. The problem was, football quickly realized they had never heard his name. While his accomplices in the United States were buying mansions and luxury cars, Gaunt was living quietly in Mexico, trying not to stand out. He stayed in small apartments, avoided drawing attention to himself, and spent most of his time waiting for phone calls, waiting for money, waiting for news about what was happening back home. There was one problem they couldn't ignore. David Gaunt was still out there, alive, waiting. And as long as he was alive, he knew everything. He knew how the robbery happened. He knew who was involved, and he was still expecting his cut. So instead of sending the money, the idea took a darker turn.
And they decided they're gonna kill me. Right. He's got a buddy, McKinney, and they're gonna hire him, he's gonna go down to Mexico and kill him.
Just one decision, and the entire situation disappeared.
Dang.
The people holding millions of dollars back in the United States were supposed to be protecting his share. Instead, they were spending it. Every time he heard about another purchase or another reckless decision, the situation became more dangerous for him. Because the more attention they attracted, the more likely it was that investigators would eventually find him too. And that's exactly what happened. While the group was busy spending and making noise, investigators were closing in, watching, listening, connecting the dots.
The FBI hears this, and that's when they really start looking to figure out exactly where I'm at in Mexico.
Right. And before any plan could be carried out, the entire operation began to collapse. Eventually, investigators learned that David Gaunt was planning to meet with his accomplices again. That gave the FBI exactly what they needed. In the end, the FBI arrested most of the group in the United States, and eventually they tracked down David Gaunt in Mexico. The man who once dreamed of escaping forever to a quiet beach ended up going to prison instead. The Loomis Fargo robbery remains one of the largest cash heists in U.S. history. But what makes the story so strange isn't the amount of money, it's how easily it happened.
Ransom for $1 million.
No violence, no mastermind criminal network, just a vault super.
That's crazy.
How I pulled off America's biggest 10 buys for top star Matthew.
That always happens.
Inside true crime, 9K years, bullet 2 days ago, 15 minutes, 32 seconds, 0 3.
Not a few bags, not a few $100,000. By the time he was done,
I had a pile of money that was about 3.5, 4 foot tall, 9 feet.
Curious story behind the line of our crime on direction blunder. McDonald's vacuum object TV, Fox News, Cat 19 of 445. Terrence Faulkner, what exactly are Fox News? Judge Lincoln, Renegade Media, Fox 5, San Diego, Cat 22 of 445. Sergey Roberts, Cat, at Mullins 5,822. Unbreakable Strong Women by Highwayberry, Cat 25 of 445. Jarvis puts handling it, but it doesn't mean the asset, but you the real boss. Loading. Chalk button. Jarvis puts handling a button, but it doesn't mean the asset, but he the real boss. Leveling /9 of 2 years, bullet stream 3 hours ago. Unbreakable Strong CBS 8 San Diego, Cat 26 of 404. Humor and sponsored ending well.
All right, there's always a lot of excitement at the beginning of the baseball season, and sometimes that can go too far. Take a look at this video shared with News 8 showing a brawl in the stands last Friday night that ultimately led to arrests.
And tonight I spoke with Padres, San Diego police, and a witness about what went down at the ball game. As the Padres took on the Detroit Tigers Friday night, up in the stands at Petco Park, punches were thrown.
Man, those is both Padre fans. What is Padre fans doing fighting for?
Or others joined in, and at one point,
The blue Padre fans
they
didn't.
slammed into other fans.
They've turned it from 2 people to a group, and then within 30 seconds, all of a sudden they come flying down the stairs right into the woman that was on my right. I didn't know her, but I got to know her because she came flying into me, unfortunately.
That's the Padres fan who witnessed, recorded, and shared this video with me. He requested to remain anonymous. What led up to the fight, that's still unclear.
The only thing we heard that really drew our attention was we heard someone yell super loud, like, do something about it, but like really loud, like, do something. And then that's when all of a sudden we turn around and it's just, everybody, like, they went at it.
He tells me law enforcement soon arrived to break up the brawl. I spoke with the San Diego Police Department Monday afternoon, and they told me 2 people were arrested, cited, released, and ultimately expelled from the game. I reached out to the Padres, who tell me they have a zero-tolerance policy for behavior that disrupts the game day experience. They went on to say that anyone who violates their policy will be subject to immediate removal from the ballpark, loss of future ticket privileges, and face potential criminal prosecution.
The mood in our section was definitely like everyone wanted to get out of there.
Meanwhile, SCPD added that during the game, San Diego police officers worked with Padres gas station representatives and security to monitor the crowd and address issues like this as they arise.
Play next video button.
Straight politics and all that stuff is up here. Alex Alonso 101. What you need?
Button.
We're here bringing another fire.
Two were asking after ball during Padres game. Firefighters monitor aftermath of Riverside fire that threatens Monkey Shopping Center 100 well. 3 minutes, 22 seconds, 203.
Nearby shopping center. Good evening, I'm Stephanie Marsh.
I'm Carlos Chiquetta. That fire broke out last night. And while firefighters
Loading.
Hi,
Conference.
Department policy? That's just the way insurance works.
Okay, well,
San Diego, Chief Meteorologist Brendan Davis and Kate plus weather update. Today was a little bit cooler than yesterday. Over the weekend, we were still locked into record temps across the county, especially inland. And that brought a lot of 90s for daytime highs. We're backing away from those 90s. And for today, we had 70s as well as some 80s. That's the popping up. So those former countries, those low 80s for Escondido as well as Pomona. They had widespread 70s across the inland valleys. You also had 60 to 70 right there along the North County coastline, as well as 70 degrees for downtown. Even though we did have a slip in temperatures, by about 5 to 10 degrees when you compare daytime highs from yesterday to today, it's still running another record for Tampa. Tampa broke records every single day last week. And for today, well, we can't much the same. And that's at 89 degrees with that high today, and that previous record, it shot at about 3 degrees, and that previous record was set back on this day in 2015. So we are backing away from the recent heat that we had over the next few days. Our temperatures will continue to slip all the way through Thursday. That's with onshore flow picking up as we have a couple of areas of low pressure moving through the west. We have a wind advisory that's going to
cooler days in the chance. Short. Correct. San Diego top stories for Monday, March 30th at 6 p.m. 1 through K. Report 3 hours ago, 11 minutes, 2 seconds, 103.
30-year-old cold case as a man accused of stabbing another man to death at Pacific Beach faced a judge for the first time today. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carlos Chiquetta.
And I'm Steve Price. That stabbing happened near Cumberland Beach back in 1994. News 8's Alex Cheney was at today's arraignment. Joins us now live with more. Alex.
And guys, this is a really interesting cold case because, as you said, this is over 30 years old. And so what happened is that they were able to use new DNA technology to find some evidence of that.
CBS nonprofit tab 27 of 445. Top media TV tab 28 of 445. American New Network tab 29 of 440. Rainbow Push Coalition tab 30 of Fox Business tab CWS News tab 32 of 445. Music TV, Sending Calls, Still Rock, tab 34 of 400. Pastor Melissa Scott, Logan. No slaughter and wait for profit, no use.
Most of what I've heard from most of the people calling themselves profit. And it's usually not profit, but
this house.
Pastor Moses, the White House, Chad Page,
See, they wouldn't let me in.
Chad, Bobby Kansas, Chad, all Chad, one of them, like Chad. I will be opening in 2026 for funds for National Achievement in 25 Washington. Further clues behind Nancy's house, Magnolia 911 Falls now JR. 741 people. Live. Recommending. Live now. Grow topic. Stop. Live. Refresh. Live. Film. Cast. Breathe. Diamond District. At Diamond District Foundation. Recommended growth. Cash out went. All returns received back aid. Marriage age digital conservation. Voting.
Ain't that something?
Y'all know I don't.
Sponsor. You can type.
Honestly, my home screen. It is prime real estate.
Visit.
Mary probably bring out some stars when you think about it. It's crazy on me. I don't know what these people putting on me. I wonder how they get in here, man. It's crazy. Hey.
Sponsor.
Hey. Hey, but you can see even on my shoulders, I was looking in the video, like all of my neck and my shoulders. You can see all like right here, you can see just like all of this is like not just, I mean, it was putting stuff on my body. I mean, you can look at it, look. It's crazy. All right. I wonder how they get in this house, man. I had it all blocked off, the door, the front wall right here. So it ain't through this. I think there's a few different things. I think they got a few different openings in here or something. I had the bathroom sealed off. Still got it in. No problem. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy, ain't it? Yeah, I gotta get my muscles back, man. Look at that. I ain't even got no arm. Like, and I could see they was putting something. I mean, you can look at it. Looks weird. Weirdo status. Try to make me look bad. But I grew up in the gym since a baby. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's not even like, I be cracking up when I see people like, about working out and all that. Nigga, I went to the gym every day of my life. Even when I got older, I still went to the gym. I didn't work out, but I still went. You know what I mean? But I had to work out my whole life when I was a kid. Like my uncle, he would work us out when we were kids. He was pretty tough on us. Cause I mean, we his family, so he was tough. Shit. Do that to a kid nowadays, woo, Lord, you might be in jail or something. Oh, he had me doing sit-ups. He had me doing sit-ups, and then he stood on my stomach, and I was doing sit-ups, and he made me keep doing them. He made me do them sit-ups, and he was standing on my stomach when I was a kid. My Lord, I can only imagine. Oh, he made me do 100 extra jumping jacks because I didn't do them right. Ooh, Lord, be in trouble around this joint. Look, I gotta cut my hair. My hair be looking weird once I get a little length on it. It be looking bootleg. Boatsy. Well, Mary been looking fine, boy. You looking fine, boy. You know what I'm talking about? My woman, I don't know what's on my woman. See my woman, right? She behind the bed over there. So you need to give me my baby. At least give me my baby. Let me raise my own baby. You know what I mean? I have me a star baby I could raise. See how I do. You know? I want to raise my own child. I want to raise a child. You know what I mean? I want to raise a child that I ain't got somebody hidden agendas and mess and all the extras to go with it. You know what I mean? That's what I want, man. I want to raise. You know what I mean? They gave me all my little cousins when I was growing up in their lives, and then they don't even mess with me. I mean, they don't even talk to me. They be like I'm some type of goofball or something. Nah, not my little baby cousin, little baby Dre. He always be respectful, but he don't be calling me. He don't be calling me all these years. He don't be like, man, let me call my cousin Joe. But, you know, none of them do. I used to see him every day. Every day, homie. They come to my grandma's house for because my grandma would take care of them. You know what I mean? So I would see them every day. You know, kick it with them. You know, my little cousins. You know, you see that video? I sit at that table right there in that chair. So did. Sit right in that chair. Mary, Mary, Mary. They all my women though. They just, I don't know, man. They don't want to be a part. Hey, you know, it's funny. They don't even want me no more. They don't want me no more. Can I get 2 billion, 3 billion, and a chameleon? Hey, she started popping me. Ugh. Man, my back, my body. Hey. I don't think they be knowing they're part of the art. Maybe they never know they even, you know, when they start tightening their whole game up, it's because they're under some real game, you know?
Sponsor, skipping Vladimir Lane.
Keeping money in a sock ain't cute, it's gross. Oh gosh, yes, gross, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yes.
Use
Visit the
tracking.
website, use your phone to scan and look at the road.
There are tons of thousands of ATMs all over the country. They make it super easy, very convenient, there's no fees. So, what do you wait? Download Chime today.
Tip and time. Visit the
Oh, she got a bad song. What's your cash app, OG? It's VS1 Collection or Rainbow Global Faith Center. Tank 187. Who is that? Is that Tank? That ain't Tank. Is that Tank or Tank? It's I'm gonna see if I don't know how to put it up, pin it up no more. It's crazy. I don't even know how to do that no more. That's the crazy part. Let's see. It's VS1 Collections.